Hi, I'm Andrea and welcome to Pink Cake Princess. Today I'm going to show you guys how to make a clean Elsa doll cake. Perfect for your Frozen themed party, so if you have someone crazy at home over Frozen, don't forget to share it with your special princess. If you're looking for more Frozen treats, don't forget to click the subscribe button here for more free videos, and if you watch to the end of the video there'll be more links to more Frozen ideas. I've placed a small round cake onto a cake board, and now I'm just icing the top of the cake with some buttercream. I'm going to use 3 cakes in total, roughly about 7 inches wide, and I'm going to stack them on top of each other and fill in buttercream in the layers in between. Next I'm going to use a serrated knife and I'm going to trim the cake at the top so that it looks like the skirt of Elsa's dress. Just cutting off little bits at a time until you get the shape of the skirt. Cleaning up my surface area before I place on the rest of the buttercream around the cake. Then I'm going to place it in the fridge to set for about 20 minutes. Once it's firmed up, I've taken it out and I'm adding a second layer of buttercream around my cake before I place it back in the fridge for another half an hour. At this stage I've realised I've forgotten to cut out the centre of the cake for the doll's legs to sit in, so I'm just doing it now with my circle cutter and my serrated knife. Using a spoon to help me remove the excess in the middle. You don't need to cut all the way to the bottom, just enough for the legs to slip in. Now onto my fondant. I'm rolling out some blue fondant and I've used a pin to get rid of any air bubbles. And now I'm cutting out a big circle with my cake board as a guide. You want it fairly big because you want it to cover the whole skirt. Using some royal icing, I'm going to stick my cake onto my cake board. And I've cut a little circle out of the center, and I've cut from the center to the outside before I lift it up, and placing it carefully onto the cake. Just shaping the skirt. And making sure that the front is all covered. Okay, now I'm getting my doll and just wrapping her legs in cling wrap. And because this particular doll's got this funny structure where her chest is, I'm just going to cover that little section with a bit of white fondant. I'm using a little template to cut out a bodice. And before I put it on her, I'm just going to put some impressions with a snowflake plunger cutter. And using a little bit of water, I'm going to stick on her clothing. And trimming the excess off. Now I've rolled out some light blue fondant and I've cut out 2 long strips. Now gluing it onto the arms section. Gently pressing and smoothing over until it joins up. Trimming off the excess fondant. And using a toothpick to help maneuver it into place. Now using my template again, just to create a small section for the top of the bodice. Attaching with a little bit of water and pressing it in with my fingers. Now I'm going to insert the doll into the cake, gently pressing her in and using my crafts knife to cut the excess fondant around her hips. Now I can press her in a little bit further. Next I've rolled out a thick strip of blue fondant and I'm just going to glue that around her hips to hide the join. If you are liking this tutorial, don't forget to click the like button below, it only takes a second, and click add to favourites to save this tutorial for future reference. Now I'm just gently pressing down the strip of fondant so that it's nice and smooth. Now I've rolled out a big section of the light blue fondant and I've cut it into that shape. And now I'm using my plunger cutters to put some more snowflake impressions into the fondant. Now I'm going to cut this section into half. And I'm also going to trim the top portions off. Just checking to see how it's going to sit on her dress. Now I've flipped it over and I'm using a tissue and some water just to act as a glue before I stick it on. Just shaping it around underneath her arms and around to the back. And just making it look like it's draping down the side of her dress. Trimming the excess off with my crafts knife, and again using a little bit of water to attach the second piece to the other side of the dress, draping it so that it looks like it's draping down, cutting off the excess and just attaching a tiny little bit that's fallen off. Okay, now just doing the final details on the cake. I've used a little number 3 cutter to cut out a fondant 3, and I'm attaching it with a little bit of water to a wire, and I'm setting it aside to set for at least an hour or so. I've cut out some letters to spell out the birthday girl's name. And I'm making some candle holders with some fondant. I'm also balling up a tiny little ball of white fondant, and I'm also cutting out some white snowflakes and some blue snowflakes. Attaching the number onto her hand, just wrapping the wire around her hand, and now gluing on my little snowball onto her hand with some royal icing, and also gluing on the name and the snowflake onto the cake board, finishing off with a little bit of ribbon around the cake board and placing the candles at the back. What do you love about Frozen? Comment and share below. Don't forget to share this with your special princess, and if you want to see more Frozen treats, click the links here, and don't forget to click the subscribe button here as well to see more free tutorials from my channel. Thanks again for watching, guys. You guys have a fantastic day.